Some mysteries are solved within days. Some take years. And then there are mysteries so impossible that they survive for generations. This is one of them. A man hijacked a passenger plane, demanded a fortune in cash, leapt into a violent storm from 10,000 feet, and then vanished. No body, no arrest, no answers. More than 50 years later, the world is still asking the same question. Who was D.B. Cooper? November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. Airports across America were crowded with travelers eager to get home. Among them was an ordinary-looking man, mid-40s, calm, well-dressed, dark suit, white shirt, black tie. Nothing about him attracted attention. Nothing seemed unusual. Yet within a few hours, he would become the most famous, unidentified criminal in American history. He purchased a one-way ticket from Portland to Seattle. The name on the ticket, Dan Cooper. He quietly boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305 and took a seat near the rear of the aircraft. A short 30-minute flight. Routine? Forgettable. At least, that's what everyone believed. A few minutes after takeoff, Cooper handed a folded note to a flight attendant. She barely looked at it. Passengers often slipped phone numbers to flight attendants. She assumed it was another harmless attempt. Then Cooper leaned toward her and calmly said, "Miss, you'd better read that note." She unfolded the paper. Her face immediately changed. The note contained just a few terrifying words. "I have a bomb." Moments later, Cooper opened his briefcase. Inside were wires, batteries, and red cylinders. Whether it was real or fake remains unknown, but nobody was willing to test it. The hijacking had begun. And astonishingly, almost none of the passengers realized it. People continued reading newspapers, looking out windows, chatting with one another, completely unaware that the aircraft was now under the control of a mysterious stranger. Cooper's demands were precise: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a refueled aircraft ready to fly again. Authorities had no choice. They agreed. Hours later, after circling above Seattle, the plane landed. The money arrived. The parachutes arrived. Every demand was met. Then Cooper did something unexpected. He released all passengers unharmed. No violence, no panic, no injuries. It wasn't revenge he wanted. It wasn't attention. He wanted something else: freedom. As night fell, the aircraft took off once more. Rain battered the fuselage. Powerful winds shook the plane. Below stretched endless forests and wilderness. A perfect place for a man to disappear forever. At around 8 p.m., Cooper instructed the remaining flight attendant to enter the cockpit. The door closed. For the first time, he was alone. Minutes later, warning lights flashed. The rear staircase had been lowered. A blast of freezing air rushed through the aircraft. Somewhere behind that door, Cooper was preparing for the impossible. He strapped the ransom money to his body, put on a parachute, opened the stairs, and stepped into the darkness. 10,000 feet above the earth, in freezing rain, over a vast wilderness. D.B. Cooper jumped. That was the last confirmed sighting of him. Ever. When the aircraft landed, FBI agents stormed aboard. But Cooper was gone. No parachute, no briefcase, no ransom money, only a black tie and a handful of clues. The FBI launched one of the largest investigations in its history. Agents believed no one could survive such a jump. The conditions were brutal: strong winds, heavy rain, complete darkness. Yet as years passed, that theory began to crumble. Other skyjackers attempted similar jumps. Some survived. Suddenly, investigators faced an unsettling possibility. What if Cooper survived too? Then came an astonishing discovery. In 1980, a young boy digging near the Columbia River uncovered decaying bundles of cash buried in the sand. The serial numbers matched Cooper's ransom money. For the first time in nearly a decade, investigators had physical evidence, but instead of solving the mystery, it made it even stranger. How did the money get there? Where was the rest? And most importantly, where was Cooper? Over the decades, hundreds of suspects emerged: former soldiers, pilots, parachutists, criminal masterminds. Some seemed convincing. None could be proven. Books were written. Documentaries were produced. Theories multiplied. But the truth remained hidden. Finally, after 45 years of investigation, The FBI announced something shocking. The case was being closed. Not solved, closed. Even one of the most powerful investigative agencies in the world had reached a dead end. And so the mystery lives on. Did D.B. Cooper survive and create a new life under a different name? Did he quietly spend the ransom and take the secret to his grave? What do you think happened to D.B. Cooper? Did he survive? Or did he vanish forever? Let me know your theory in the comments, and for more unsolved mysteries, subscribe to The Missing File.